Jazzcast Pros.
One thing that was really important to me when I was building this business was the word of vibe. And I've told the story many times about how I created the name of my company, but another word for vibe is like energy. And that is super important to me. You know, we get a little woo-woo around here, but one thing that can really transform your energy is the feeling of your space. We recently had a couple weeks off with Christmas and all the holidays, New Year's, and I took down the Christmas tree and totally reorganized my living room, and it just feels so much more welcoming. It feels so much more open. And in today's episode, we talk with Derria about the importance of having a space that you enjoy walking into, and that includes both physically, mentally, vibe-wise, energy-wise, and how we can set ourselves up for success when it comes to decluttering, creating a space that is supportive, enhances our well-being, and just a space that we are the most productive in. We have such a fun conversation, so I can't wait for you to hear it. And don't forget to stay tuned for the lightning round questions. Those are always my favorite, and Derria has some fantastic advice for you during those questions. So without further ado, let's get into this chat with Derria. Welcome to High Vibe Table Talks, the podcast to help you, the current or aspiring solopreneur, navigate the messy middle so you can make both an income and an impact. Hi, I'm Rashawn, and I love creating safe spaces for women to be courageous in their dreams. I'm very excited for our guest today. Derria, welcome to the table.
Hi, Rashawn. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I'm really excited about this conversation today. It is something that I definitely need, and I know my audience will as well. But can you first tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're located geographically, and then who you serve?
Sure. I am Derria. I am from the Midwest, and my audience runs the gamut, mostly between 45 to 55-year-olds. But hey, everyone can use some decluttering tips. And I like to say we all have innate traits that we're born with, and I am a naturally organized person. I mean, my sister and I, we shared a room as youngins, and you could tell who was messy and who was highly organized. So I always offer whoever is available to talk or who needs tips on how to create what I like to call their Oasis space. And this just all stemmed from just the hustle and bustle that I kind of got into as I graduated from college and then went straight to a career. And then it just got to a point to where it was like, all right, no, we need to make some more space to create an oasis here.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about, kind of that culmination feeling of like when it became too much for you and you finally decided you have to make a change? Because I think a lot of the audience has felt maybe it's not necessarily clutter, but they just come to this culmination point where they're like, I need to do something different. Tell us more about what that looked like for you.
Oh, yes, for sure. When it gets to a point to where, you know what, I need something different, because we always talk about balance. I personally do not believe in balance. Mm-hmm. I like to live life in rhythm. And when you have a rhythm in your routine or whatever it is that you're doing daily, because we all have families, we all have things, life always lives. And it just got to a point to where, okay, if I'm doing this hustle and bustle every day, commuting and doing all of this, I got to come home to peace. I have to come home to some type of uncluttered territory where it has to be streamlined. I shouldn't be getting up in the morning saying, oh my gosh, where are my keys? No, I come to the door of the entryway and the keys are right there, or wherever it is that you're mainly coming in and exiting.
Mm-hmm. Earlier this year, I was diagnosed with ADHD. So that neurodivergence in my brain has made me ask that question many, many times. And, a lot of times it's just because as I'm putting my keys down, I'm thinking about a million other things. And I think becoming an entrepreneur has exacerbated that, because your brain is just always constantly thinking about all the things that you need to be doing. So when you say rhythm, what comes to mind for me is that, in this era of social media that we're in, we see a lot of like picture perfect homes and spaces. And, this time of year, like, look at this beautiful Christmas decor. And for me personally, like someone's beautiful pantry that's like really well organized is like a thing of beauty to me. And so when you talk to a client or someone about decluttering, do you also gauge like what season of life are they in? Because someone's like picture perfect may not fit into the season of life that you're currently in.
Absolutely. And you hit on a key point about seeing picture perfect images of uncluttered, oh, this person has it together. I always like to say that your decluttering philosophy is not my decluttering philosophy, and my decluttering philosophy is not necessarily yours. The same with minimalism and maximalism and all these different terms that float around. You can engage in decluttering and even be a minimalist and still have pictures on your wall. You can still have pillows. If you like bohemian style, if my sister loves bohemian style, she's not like me to where, okay, I have pictures in some rooms and some rooms I don't have pictures in, but I have plants and I may have my little coloring books or whatnot to detox and de-stress. But putting those images will stay in our minds. And it's like, oh, this is what decluttering looks like. This beige, this cream, no pictures on the wall, or it's just everything's organized. That's not necessarily the way everyone's minds work. So you do have to consider what season of life that you're in, because things change along with our purpose. So does our space. Because if you have a family and you have kids, you become empty nesters when they go off somewhere and they say, okay, I'm leaving home. Or if you're a single person and you transition from your parents' house and now you have your own, or you're living with roommates, or you're an adult and you're co-living, things change. And so they don't look the same. So we do definitely have to consider those things. And I consider that when I'm talking to my clients and when I'm saying, hey, you know what? What is your purpose for the space? How do you want to feel when you walk into your basement? How do you want to feel when you walk into your kitchen? How do you want to feel when you drop the kids off at soccer practice, basketball practice, violin, whatever it is? How do you want to feel when you come through the door? How do you want everyone in your family to feel to create that sense of, I'm walking into my oasis right now?
Mm-hmm. I hear that the first question that you probably ask someone is, how do you want to feel?
Yes.
What are some other like common things that, or breakthroughs that your clients have when they first declutter? Like what does that process look like for you?
Oh my goodness, that dishwasher wasn't there just for storage. It's actually, I can use it because I have walked into a space where the dishwasher was used for storage because the cabinets were full to the top, or the spices in the cabinets were expired. Because if you can't really see it, I shouldn't even say really, you can't see it, out of sight, out of mind, and you forget. So when I have talked with clients, it's like, what are you using the space for? Or what exactly is it that you want to use it for?
Mm-hmm.
What is your goal?
Mm-hmm.
You got the feeling, and then you have the goal of how you want to use the space. If your kitchen is if you have appliances that you're no longer using, or even if you use it seasonally, like for example, some people only use their crock pot in the wintertime. I found out. And I'm one of them. And it's like, if you're not using it right now, store it away in the cabinet, put it away until that time comes. Even the same way with the kitchen gadgets. If it's not something that you're using right now, go ahead and put it away until you do. If it's something that you haven't used for 2 years, you're not going to use it.
Yeah. So One of the things I saw in some of your earlier episodes, you were talking about both like the physical and the mental clutter. Can you give us some examples of like what we can, especially as like entrepreneurs and managing clients and things like that? I think mental clutter, I think people have like a gist of it, but can you give us some better ideas of ways for us to become more aware of when we're like, hold up, I need to declutter my mental space?
Absolutely. I think it's important to definitely do a brain dump. Like we have that endless to-do list that has been around forever. And we have all of these ideas and thoughts that come to our heads throughout the day. And especially when you're busy doing this and busy doing that. What I always say is to have a system in place because systems are important. So say, for example, if you know that you're not only running a business and you're also raising a family, or if you're even just going to your 9 to 5, whether it's remote or not, and you're still trying to be social and all of this, figure out what's the most important priority for you. I always go by the rule of 3 in almost everything that I do. And rule of 3 has been around forever. And I did not create that phrase at all. It has always helped me to keep things in harmony with one another. It goes back to that rhythm. So it's like if I, on a day, like on a Monday or something, if I say, all right, let me tackle all these projects I've got on my plate. And then I know that I have a dinner, lunch date or something to go on this evening. It's like, all right, wait a minute. Maybe I should have thought of planning this maybe on Sunday, jotting it down, writing it down. Yeah, I have it digital. I have it on my phone, but I also need it on my hard planner too, because there is a case for still using papers as well. So I think using the rule of 3, your 3 priorities, is important in any sense, in any part of your day, just to keep things simple for you, because it's a lot going on out here in these streets. So we want to make sure we keep things as simple as possible on it from day to day.
Yeah. So kind of brain dumping, like what is overwhelming my brain, and then can I prioritize these from this list?
Yes. And don't worry about the to-do list, because that to-do list, it'll be there.
Yeah. I saw something the other day where it talked about, because a lot of people have like these really nice storage for all their shoes or closets, that have these. And this woman was speaking specifically for people who are neurodivergent, but it's like create less friction in putting it away. And it may look aesthetically a little less pleasing, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to get out. But reducing the clutter because it's easy to put away is something that was like it was like a lightning jolt, in social media, because I think a lot of people struggle with like the shame of I should do this or it should look like that.
Absolutely. Like you say, when there's the thing of, okay, when you come through the door, like your bedroom, all right, what I'm supposed to do, I am supposed to take off my outfit, put it in the drawer, hang it in the closet. You could be having a bad day. Or it's just like, you know what? You just don't feel like it that day. But it would be nice to have, whether you have a chair or if you have a stool, or if you just want to lay it on the side of the bed, like you would a comforter or something. Say, you know what? This is going to be my routine, because when I first come through the door, I have to breathe. So let me just go ahead and lay it here. But you can build up some type of system to where it's like, okay, after dinner or just before dinner, let me go ahead and put this away, because there are no rules to this. There are different philosophies that are out there, and they're great. And you have to pull them all together to know what's best for you. But at the end of the day, it's all about what works for you. So putting away those shoes, it's like, okay, it could get overwhelming because all you want to do is get in and get out. Just have something to where you could temporarily sit it there, but then also make sure that you say, okay, make it up in your mind to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that just before dinner, I go ahead and put this away, but let me sit on the couch for a second just to breathe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To breathe.
So it's kind of knowing what you need in that moment, and long term, like in the moment, you need to take your clothes off, take the day off, and take a load off, sit on your
Absolutely.
couch for a little while, and creating the space of, okay, as the vegetables are sauteing, I'm going to run up and put my clothes away. Whatever you have to do to create that space.
Absolutely. And it's not about multitasking either, because it's like, I am not a multitasker. I know that's the name. And they came out, they have research on that too. And I was so happy when that research came out. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like several years ago. And I was, everybody from my mom to family, I said, friends, I said, you see there? I told y'all.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a phenomenal multitasker. Not really. It's this story I tell myself that like, oh, I'm really good at it. And then at the end after like an hour, I'm like, what did I just do? What just happened?
Yeah, because I was going to say, I was like, look, no judgment. I am happy for all you multitaskers out there. Hey, you're all right with me, but I'm a single tasker. I prioritize rule of 3.
Yeah. And I need all the like laundry tips I can get. Laundry is like my arch nemesis. It's just, it creates such, I don't know if it's like, it creates such little dopamine in my brain that I have to like, I haven't figured out the right solution.
Get to the bottom of the hamper, clear it out.
Oh, God. My poor husband, he, not that long ago, he like bought another hamper thinking like, okay, if I just buy her another hamper, like there won't be clothes everywhere. Now I just have one more full hamper and I still have clothes everywhere. Like, oh, Lord.
And see, now we go back to that endless to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
We all wear clothes.
Mm-hmm.
We all have laundry. And I used to be obsessed with getting to the bottom of the hamper, the dirty clothes. And I used to tell myself, oh my gosh, I got to clear this out every week. That was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just began to ask myself one day, I said, why? Why do I necessarily have to have this cleared every week when I wear clothes all the time? Why don't I just, with my towels, I use towels all the time. Okay, I have like 15 days of towels. All right. Every 2 weeks. Okay. Let the clothes air dry, depending on everybody's body chemistry and everything, that makes a difference. But I'm like, I could just let things air out. Does it have to be that the hamper has to be totally gone? I understand when it's overflowing, that could be overwhelming, but it'll get done. What are the clothes that you're wearing right now? Can you repeat some of the clothes that you're wearing? Because after all, nobody cares what you're wearing. They can remember remember that.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because I think you hit on something that I struggle with specifically in laundry, but I think this is something that can feel like a big mental burden in many areas of our life, is like, I feel like I'll be like, okay, Sunday, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my Sunday morning stuff. And then I'm just going to focus on laundry. Yeah. And I spend, hours doing laundry and getting everything exactly where it's going to be. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a shower. And guess what I now have? Dirty clothes and more laundry. And so it just feels like this self-defeating process. And I'm sure that other people feel like that too, where it's like, okay, they spend all this time decluttering whatever is their like hot button, and then they sneeze and it's not tidy anymore. So how do you like talk with clients about that?
Yeah, I let them know the laundry will be there. It's going to be there. But let's figure out, what outfits do you really love to wear? What outfits do your kids really love to wear? Can they repeat the same outfit? Children, teenagers, they don't want to wear the same thing, but it's adults too. But that laundry is going to be there. That's going to be a never ending task. There are going to be some things that are going to be a never ending task. Are there any towels, any clothes? Are there old towels that you no longer use or are unusable that you can toss out, that you no longer have use for? Or are there clothes that you can donate or sell? Are you wearing all of this? Are you wearing all of this laundry? Do you really need to keep certain items, laundry items in the laundry room? Is it necessary? So those are the questions that I ask, and get everyone involved. Get the kids involved. Get your partner involved. Get everyone involved to say, okay, let's build a system here to where we won't be overwhelmed. Because at the end of the day, it's so long as you can find what you need, let it go. Because that laundry is going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as everything has its space, everything has a spot for it to live, it doesn't matter if it is aesthetically perfect or that laundry basket is empty or, your to-do list is perfectly checked off. Like, as long as everything has a space, that is rhythm.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeking.
That is rhythm. So long as everything is as long as you have a home for it, that's what matters.
Yeah. I have one last question, and then we'll get to our lightning round questions because this time always goes so fast. This is something that I struggle with, having a sentimental connection to too many things, creating like sentiments around too many things and having this fear of ridding of them because of the sentimental aspect of it. How do you find balance or rhythm in that? I love using my grandma's measuring spoons in my kitchen because she was a huge baker. And so she loved being in the kitchen. So I feel like a part of her when I use those. And so I feel like that's a healthy sentimental connection. Whereas like having, 3 boxes of her old jewelry, maybe you can keep a couple necklaces and a couple earrings, but like, how do you talk with clients who maybe struggle with that?
Just recently, I had a client who had glasses from her mom, who was 93, I think she was. She was 93. She had just passed. And as I was going through her cabinets, she said, well, I want to keep that. I want to keep that. And it was just mixed in with everything else. I said, great. Because before I began the session, I always tell clients, I want you to get 3 boxes, because you're going to need one for donating, one for sentimental items, and the other to sell. So at least keep one tote box of keepsake items. And I say banker's boxes because they're a little smaller. You don't want to come out with this whole medium box. But there is nothing wrong with keeping things that are important to you and that are passed on, because those are precious memories. Those are precious items. So there's, like you mentioned, your grandmother's measuring spoons. That's a precious item. Like you said, you may not keep the entire jewelry collection, but you could keep a few pieces. And guess what? You have other family members that you may ask, would you like this item? Christmas nostalgia is so important to me and my family. And my mom sewed 2, like a snowman and a Santa Claus. And just recently, I was getting ready to donate it to a child, give it to someone I knew. And my sister said, are you going to throw that away? I'm like, what? No, I was going to actually give it away, but do you want it? But before I was going to give it away, I was actually going to ask her first, wink, wink. But I said, if you want it, you can have it. It'll live in your home because I have the memories already. Do I have a keepsake? Yes, I have one keepsake tote. And that's what I recommend for people. You don't have to give everything away, but check in first with your family members to see if they want it. or close friends. If you don't have close family, see if a close friend would like that, or take the next step and go ahead and find organizations where you can donate these items to that could be of use. If they're broken, of course, just toss it. But
Yeah.
make sure you can find a nice home where someone else will find value and appreciate it, because you can't keep everything. Because I know I've just received a bag full of stuff. It was like in like a shopping bag, and from my mom recently, and it was old report cards from 3rd grade. And I said, paperwork. And I just want to let you know, Mom, I passed. So I don't need to keep that. She's like, just go through it and see. I don't need that.
Yeah. This was such a great conversation. As always, the time goes so fast. So, Derria, are you ready for lightning round questions?
I'm ready.
All right. What is a must-read book?
Oh, my goodness. The Alchemist. That's a classic. I read it every year. And the number one thing that always stands out in my mind, and I have 10 pages of notes. What is your personal legend?
Ooh,
what is your
I
personal
love that.
legend?
What does creativity mean to you?
Opening up my mind to explore. No rules. Coloring. I have coloring books spread throughout my house. There's creativity in everything.
I can't go into this here because we are in lightning round questions, but I think it would be so cool to see how, discuss with you how you can bring creativity into your routines and systems and things. I think that would be so cool.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Yeah.
So, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh my gosh. Stay true to myself. Do not compromise, and keep moving in spite of fear.
Keep moving in spite of fear. I love that so much. I say, so my favorite word is tercitement. If you're terrified and excited and smush them together, that's the exact direction you should be moving.
I love it. We're excited.
What is something that's on your bucket list?
I'm going to tell you, I do not believe in bucket lists. I just do things. But since you did ask about a bucket list, I would say I just want to be flexible as possible, to not attach myself to things, to be able to move freely, because I am a global citizen. And I know that may sound woo-woo to some, but right now, at this particular time in my life, especially, like I say, I've always been decluttered and not really holding on to a bunch of things. That has come to a point right now in my life where I want to be even more flexible and nimble.
Yeah, we're all about the woo over here. So I love it. I love it so much. What is the coolest thing you've done in the past year or are currently working on?
Oh my gosh, the coolest, that's a good question. The coolest thing I've done in the past year. Let's see. Or currently working on. Right now, I am working on virtual decluttering sessions. People can go to my YouTube. They can, of course, listen to the podcast, Declutter Empress Radio, but I also provide virtual declutter sessions, and it's through my YouTube channel at Declutter Empress Radio. So people, I would love to talk with your community. Feel free to come on by and schedule a session.
That is very cool. And it's very intriguing. Like when I tell people that I offer virtual co-working, they're like, how do you co-work with people? Like you just all stare at your computer screen. And I think that that's one of the cool things that has come out of, the post-COVID world is you can do things virtually, and body doubling is very impactful. And so I think that's really, really cool. We'll make sure to put all of that in the show notes. People can reach out to you, connect with you, link up to your virtual sessions. This was really, really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Rashad. I appreciate it. This was fun. Thank you. Bye, Rashad.
If you like that episode, please leave a review. Those are always so helpful on whatever platform you listen to this. Until next time, remember that big dreams and small steps will transform your life.